Although we are active Church of Satan members, we do not speak on their behalf. The following contains language in adult manner and poorly impersonated celebrity voices. Listener discretion is advised.
This is Cardone coming from you. No, wait, hold on, wait.
Coming at you.
Yeah.
Coming on you?
Yeah. I'm coming on you right now. You are about to listen to the Devil You Know podcast. And if you're not listening to it, go to thedevilyouKnowpodcast.com and listen now. And if you don't, you're a fool.
All right, Dorian, episode 7.
Yes, indeed. They're flying by now.
Or siete, if you're from Mexico.
There's that.
Oh, yeah. There's always that. Because you have to press 1 to not hear that. But, so, funny thing happened to me today. I'm for those of you that don't know, I run Satanist. Big secret.
No.
Yeah. So I go to pick up.
Order your fucking posters, by the way.
Attention.
Yeah,
incredible.
Right. I go down to my t-shirt guy because I have a slew of t-shirts I got to get out. So I go to pick him up, and there's this like new guy there, and he's like, "Hey, I hope you don't mind. Can I ask you some questions?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" You know, and I'm just being cool, whatever. And he's like, "I checked out your site," and I'm like, "The iSatanist?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool, yeah." And he's like, "Yeah, I clicked on the links, and I went to the Church of Satan page, and I read that, and I read some other sites of other people that you had on your site and things like that." I'm like, "Yeah, awesome." And he's like, "Yeah, can I ask you a question?" I'm like, "Sure, yeah, fire away. Do you believe in aliens?" Right, that's exactly, in my head, I was laughing my balls off. Like, you read my site, which pretty much just, points people to the Church of Satan and literature and essays and whatever. And his first question to me is, "Do you believe in fucking aliens?" Like,
what the
how does that? Yeah, I'm like, what does that have to do with it? Like, what? I'm thinking in my head, like, what? He's like, and I realize this guy is he looks like a Rastafarian. He's got the dreadlocks and stuff, dark skin, and so he's obviously a stoner or some shit, because he's like, "Well, I was like really high one night, dude," and like, I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, it's all making fucking sense now." All aboard! And he's like, "And I clicked on, I read this, and then there was like another YouTube video where like, I'm doing his voice now, where like it was like this and like but he's like, so it got to this thing about like Hollywood Satanists," and I'm like, "Hollywood Satanists? I know one." And I mean, not for long, but I'm like, it blew my mind. I'm thinking Hollywood. He's like, and I'm like, I go, "So you mean like Beyonce or some shit?" He's like, "Yeah, like yeah, and Jay-Z, yeah, Illuminati stuff, and then it started talking about aliens and how they're hiding like 3 different types. There's like the grays and I go, I gotta stop you right there. I'm sorry. I go, this has nothing to do with my site or my belief system or not. And I just gotta be frank with you. I really don't see the need for this conversation. I gotta go. I gotta do. I got stuff to do.
What the fuck? I mean, like, just the weird shit that people will just instantly associate us. Like, I mean, we're just instantly lumped in with weird shit. And
I'm cool with that. I can handle that. I don't, that doesn't faze me. But that's the first question. That's the first time I've ever heard anything like that as a first question.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be one thing if he said, "Hey, so I read your site. I read the Church of Satan's website. So you don't believe there's a devil?"
That's usually right.
That would have been a little bit more of it. But yeah, just to jump straight to aliens.
But he was like, but he did stop me. He's like, "Before you go," he's like, "Do you mind telling me if you do believe in aliens?" I'm like, I go, "Well, listen, I don't speak for everybody in the religion. It's a very individualistic thing. So my belief wouldn't definitely be someone else's belief. So as long as you understand that." He's like, "Oh yeah." I said, "Well, personally for me, I think there's got to be something out there. I don't know if there is or not. I don't have any proof or evidence or anything, but there's got to be something. It's a vast universe. I believe that it might even be possible that there's other universes. Who the fuck knows? We're so tiny. So, there's got to be something, whether it's intelligent life, primitive life, or it's just a single-celled organism or something, whatever. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah. I said, there's something out there. But to think that there's not it's to me is ridiculous. But it might not be too ridiculous for someone else to believe what they want to believe. And he's like, oh, all right, thanks, man. Well, later, dude. And so I just fucking took my box and left.
Sasquatch was in the back of his mind somewhere too, man. He's thinking about Sasquatch too.
Do you believe in like chupacabras, man? And
this monster.
Nosferatu, you know what I'm saying, dude?
Hollywood vampires next, huh?
Yeah. And he started off the whole thing with like, I was like really high, so like, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Which, you know what? Speaking of that kind of brings up an interesting topic. I hope we don't run too long here, but somebody posted in the Public Church of Satan group this week.
The unofficial page?
Yes. Something to the effect of, how do you think Satanists should handle it if their beliefs just don't match up with the laws? It was something to that effect, and it was obvious that they wanted to do something illegal, probably drugs of some sort, and they're mad at the law. I don't know what else it could be, but it's just kind of one of those. I don't know, just one of those things that just kind of irks me, like he kind of was expecting, he was kind of hoping that somebody would say, as a Satanist, we should unite and fight the power. And we're, obviously he didn't understand it, it's not what a Satanist is, but it's just one of those things that I saw. And I was just like, oh my God, why?
Well, that group, although there are some, amazing posts, very, very thoughtful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thought-provoking posts. There are, it's open to anyone, so it's like, holy shit,
Yeah.
I read some shit. If I just need a good laugh, sometimes I pop in there and just read something, but
right.
I don't.
Hey, you know what I mean? Generally, there can be some really good questions. There's some people that, have some sincere questions about it. And sometimes it's just, I don't know. Sometimes it's like, you didn't read any of the actual material, did you? It's
usually the case. What are you going to do?
Watch that stoner guy get in the group and be like, so anyone else here believe in aliens?
Look, I know John Shaw, dude. He like picks up shirts here, dude. And
he'd be like, I don't know him.
Yeah, right.
Speaking of which, I actually had I had customers in the tattoo shop this week, and they were interested in my art. I was letting them check out the Anton print on I Satanist.
Yeah.
And the one guy who I was tattooing I was tattooing one guy, but the other guy was looking at the site, and apparently just from looking at the site, he did click the link to the Church of Satan site. He looked like a stoner. His mouth was wide open while he's looking, but he was reading for about an hour on the Church of Satan website, and he was really digging it. So
wow,
it was interesting.
Well, like, since it's like his time and like my time, should it be like our time? I don't know. I'm making fun of this kid, but it was funny. He's talking like that. He's just so baked. I don't know how you can walk around like that in life, just in a haze. But so let's move on with the show.
All right.
All right. Well, last week we promised everybody that we were going to try and get to the bottom of what the hell is going on with Christopher Walken. And I mean, John, you remember that weird phone call with Adam?
Yeah, he was going off. And I don't know if the alcohol had anything to do with it or not, but
it could be. Maybe, we should get to the bottom of this. So I think maybe we should call Chris and see
if
he has anything more to tell us about.
Let's do it. Yeah. I will dial right now.
Hello. It's Chris. How are you?
Chris.
Hey, Chris.
How's it going, buddy?
Man?
It's going good. I've been studying like you guys like, so I'm ready.
All right.
Great.
Getting narrowed down to the right books and the right way.
Yeah. Well,
Are you sure about that?
I'm sure.
Okay. Well, before we get into what you're doing exactly, we had a question for you. I'm not sure if you listened to our podcast last week. Did you get a chance to listen to it?
Unfortunately, I did. I was very upset. It was terrible. Adam, I don't understand why he's saying some terrible things about me. It was awful. It was bad. I was upset. I mean, the guy's been saying he's helping me, and now he's talking shit about me. I'm very upset. I mean, I called him at 3 a.m. Actually, my assistant called him for questions, and he seemed put out by the whole thing.
Huh.
I mean, I'm calling him. I mean, I'm Christopher Walken.
Well, 3 a.m.
He should be
a little rough.
and pleased, but I'm telling him, no, it's at any time, anywhere I needed help, he would be there.
Yeah, well.
So that's what I did. I want to make sure I do it right. You know.
So after you heard that, what were your initial thoughts?
Weird, but listen to that. I was like, yow, what the fuck? Guys, in a cocksucker. I was angry. I was enraged. I got mad.
Oh,
Through
sorry.
some things. Bad.
Yeah, that's really disappointing, Mr. Walken. We're sorry that happened, but it just seems like there's, I don't know, some kind of miscommunication here or something. We're not really understanding. You know, I mean, you tell us that he's helping you out, but yeah, he doesn't really have anything good to say about you. There's got to be something that happened between the two of you.
Gentlemen, I'm telling you, the guys are trying to help me. And Jason records all my conversations.
Oh.
So I have tapes of what we've been discussing.
Oh, you do? That's interesting. Can we hear those?
Jason, get them from the recorder, you know, and give them to you guys. I started doubting Adam when he was telling me to rub my penis on trees. It was weird.
What?
Wait, what?
He was telling me to rub my cock on some wood, like bark, and
what?
Wood on wood. It was bad.
Okay. So how soon can we get our hands on those tapes?
Have Jason send them over as soon as possible. I'm a little upset. I was excited to be on this path, and listening to Adam is just weird, and it's bad.
Okay.
I have feelings, and they're a little hurt.
Did you rub your penis on any trees? Just out of curiosity.
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, okay, that's probably a good thing.
Splinters in my cock.
Yeah. Wood on wood.
Wood in my wood. Can't have that. No.
Okay. Well, can we let our listeners, because they're pretty concerned. They write in and they give us messages and things, and you know, like want to know what's going on. Can we maybe guarantee that maybe by next week we'll have copies of those tapes?
Yes, that would be fine. I will make sure that Jason's on top of it. He's a great assistant. I love him. He's a good kid. He'll have it over there for you.
Okay, great. So
I just want to say the ancient Italians had a name for people like Adam. Asshole.
Oh no.
Okay. It's bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
Well, we know Adam. We know Adam personally, and I, you know, just for the record, I don't.
Is he always an asshole?
He's a great guy.
A great guy.
Maybe he was just joking.
We haven't had that experience that you're having with him, so there's got to be something on a personal level. I mean, that's what it sounds like. I don't know. I'm sure we'll get down to it. What do you think, Dorian?
I mean, you know, rubbing penis on trees. Are you sure you heard him right? Maybe, I don't know. Were you drinking a little bit?
It's on the recording. You can hear it.
Yeah, I guess we'll figure it out when we hear the recording. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So we'll wait till next week. We'll get the recordings. We'll air them for whoever's interested, which at this point is probably every fucking buddy. But because I know I am. I got to hear this. Wow. It's just I feel a little blindsided here.
I hope that we get to the bottom of this.
Oh,
I don't want to be turned off from being a Satanist because of this guy.
So has he helped you with your studies at all since then?
Well, no, it's weird because the stuff he told me, I tell you guys, and it's wrong. So someone sabotaged me, and it was bad. And I was like, maybe he's got the inside track, and these guys don't know. But then I realized that he's full of shit.
Yeah, especially when you found no owls, no owls on Ice Satanist, and yeah.
That's right. He was the one that was telling me that was the secret way we all communicate with these owls. When I told him, I said, I don't want an owl like.
Oh no!
Like Clash of the Titans owl, metal owl. I don't want that. He said it's a genetically modified satanic owl. Interesting. It sounds exciting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
that's
let's
exciting.
Yeah, let's.
I'm a big fan of weird shit.
Aren't we all? Yeah. So
yeah.
Okay, so next week we'll
let's
have those tapes. We'll
research.
see if we could dig a little deeper into this dilemma here. But aside from that, you have been studying. You're still doing. You're still reading Satanic Bible.
Yeah, Campbell's soup has a new one. Tomato dip. It's good. I've been eating it. With saltine crackers.
Yeah, don't eat the SpaghettiOs. I don't know if you heard about those.
Oh,
they got there's a recall on those. So
there's a recall on SpaghettiOs.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Hold on a second. Jason, throw away SpaghettiOs. No, all of them.
Holy
They're bad. Get rid of it. Thanks for telling me.
Yeah, I saw it on the news today. Anyway.
You got the moves.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's not draw this out.
Right now, we're back, throwing that shit away.
Yeah. All right, okay. We'll get to the bottom of this.
All right, gentlemen. Sounds great. So I'll have Jason send those tapes over to you guys.
Awesome.
We'll get to the bottom of this.
That's right.
Great. All right, Chris. We will talk to you next week then after we get those tapes.
Sounds amazing. Wow, you guys are great.
Okay, take care.
Take care, Chris.
Bye.
All right, so for episode 7, we're going to bring in a special guest who is kind of a little more familiar with my territory of work. John, who we got this week?
We have Warlock of the Church of Satan, Storm Anderson.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Hey, how are you guys?
Fellow Inkster.
Nice.
Yes, fellow
Good.
Inkster,
How are you
that's
doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks. I think things are going pretty good up in this area. I hope they're doing good in your respective areas of the world. And
nice. And where is your area exactly?
For having me on.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we're glad to have you on.
Can you hear me? Can you all hear me? Hello.
Yeah. And to answer your question, my area of the world is the west side of the Salt Lake Valley. It's Greater Salt Lake City. I'm in Magna, Utah, which, thanks to the most recent vote, we are part of an experimental metro township.
Yeah,
nice.
Right on.
So it's rather interesting to the kind of politics and things that are happening, and hopefully in 4 years maybe we can swing it and go city and incorporate ourselves. But that didn't happen this time. Anyway,
gotcha.
we're in the Greater Salt Lake City area.
Okay.
Interesting.
Right on. Now you own Art on You tattoo studios, right?
I do. I should probably be specific about that and say I co-own that shop.
Okay.
With my wife.
Okay.
I'd be doing it injustice if I said that I am the only owner in that shop.
Yeah, but she's not going to hear this, so you can say what you want.
Oh, she hears all.
I know.
Ooh. Right on. So, how long have you been tattooing now?
Just over 10 years now.
Oh, right on,
Nice.
man. Yeah. Cool. Now you seem like you're pretty busy with it. You seem like you're really always active in your town, not only with tattooing, but just in I guess a Halloween obsession, maybe.
I would absolutely call it a Halloween obsession. I typically label it as extreme Halloween enthusiast.
Nice.
But yes, we are very active, and honestly never thought we'd be so active in the community until we moved out here and started our shop, and we're well embraced by people out here. have a very deep community spirit. They support their own. So once you are kind of accepted as a fellow Magnite, be it a business or a resident, they heavily support you. And that's something that you really don't find in a lot of areas anymore. And it's despite the fact that it's part of a metropolitan area, it still kind of has its very small town feel that's reserved strictly to the Magna area. Magnites love Magna, and they'll be sure and let you know just to what extent they have that love for Magna and that town pride, hopefully city pride. And from there, we just slowly started getting invited to things and getting involved. Next thing I know, we're part of the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm elected to the board of directors, and from there elected into the secretary position. And my wife is elected to the town council. She's Councilwoman Renee now, and we host a festival each year. And before we knew it, it's weird, kind of going around, at least within the Magna area. We'll walk into the Walmart marketplace and people, hey, Storm, Renee, how's it going? It's kind of weird to have that where it's not just being known as the tattoo Halloween freaks or the tattoo owners or whatever, but actually people that are just that involved in the community.
Sweet.
Wow.
Anderson 2020, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know about president, but in all seriousness, had it gone city, I was going to run for mayor.
Wow.
Yeah. So if it does go city in 4 years, I will actually pursue it. Now knowing a few things, there's a gentleman out here named Jack, and Jack had already talked about financing the campaign if that was ever going to go. And now that I put his name out there, if any listeners come on later, what? We know which Jack you're talking about, of course. But he seriously was. And I think that's probably all right to say. There was an evening in the bar next door to us, and we'd gone over to visit because we heavily support it, and I designed the posters for him. And when we were over there, Jack happened to be in there, and that's the establishment, one of the establishments that he owns in the area. And it asked me if I was going to do that. And I said, I don't know. I know that some people think that I'm cool or whatever, and that we've been kind of involved, but I don't know how many people actually vote to have me mayor. But then come to find that there were some other in fact, there was a candidate that came in, candidate Bill Both had come into the shop and said, tell me you're going to be running for mayor if we go city. And he was one of the ones that I knew he appreciated our shop and supported us, but he's also very conservative. He's a conservative Republican, LDS individual that ironically, he supports the tattoo shop, thinks we're great people, considers us close friends. And when he had said, no, seriously, if you run, I want to get behind you and support this. So people like that, when they're coming out and saying they want to support me as running for mayor, I thought, wow, you know what? I'll do it. If we can get the incorporation, I'll do it.
Wow.
So
that's
I don't know
interesting.
I don't know about AW Storm Anderson for president, but it may one day happen that I run for mayor.
Wow, that's impressive, man.
That'd be really cool.
It was, like I said, it was kind of nuts to have these people come out and say, no, we want you to run.
Would your campaign be like Halloween every day if I get elected?
I think I might joke about those sorts of things because I think even in politics you got to have some humor and some light heartedness to it. But I think that I would do something that would be very trademark. Put Storm in there since people recognize that name, and have the O of Storm with my signature goatee that has the really long braid coming off of it. So people, of course we know who that guy is. But otherwise, I don't know that I'd really go after and say, I'm going to make Halloween every day.
Right. Now, I mean, with a community that tight knit, do they know of your affiliation with the Church of Satan?
Yeah, we're pretty open about that.
Yeah,
and there's still a lot of people out there that confuse it, and they feel like they see symbols, or they see their extreme interest in Halloween and passion for that, and they want to say that we're pagans, or sometimes we get the Wiccan question. And we say, well, no, we don't follow that particular path, but I can see where you derive that. And they don't usually follow up the question, well, then what are you? They just kind of accept that as an answer. But we'll sometimes have people they'll pass us by and they'll say "Blessed be," and we nod because kind of take that as a compliment. I don't think they're saying like "fuck you" or anything. They're they're saying "Blessed be." It's a heartfelt salutation, so I'll take it.
Yeah, they're trying to be on your level. They're just not understanding the level.
Yeah, and then there are others that absolutely know. For example, Bill that I just mentioned, he does know outright. He sees it. He catches when I do shares from the official page or anything like that. And he said, you know what? I think that is a very unique part of you that we should have. So there's something different. And he does understand the philosophy. So somebody like him will say, you know what's going to be neat is that you will have more of an unbiased opinion as opposed to a lot of people in this area have a heavy LDS influence.
Wouldn't that be amazing though, just to have an openly satanic mayor? That would be, I mean, just crazy. How cool would that be, man?
Yeah, that's heavily tattooed.
Yeah.
So, like I said, a Halloween enthusiast like that has the shop with a pumpkin as a logo and is also the mayor. Yeah, I would love it. That'd be
voted in by Christians. That'd be amazing.
The area is very divided. It's primarily Catholic and LDS.
Ooh.
Okay.
We have a lot of Catholics, which Catholics can kind of be open-minded. I was raised Catholic.
I would say most Catholics don't even know what they believe, so.
Yeah, they pretty much do whatever the hell they want and just repent on Sunday for it.
So, before we get too much into tattooing and everything that you're doing now, we usually like to kind of go back into time and to basically tell people like where all the different walks are that different Satanists come from, that we come from different areas in life and stuff. And was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about your background, where you're from, your upbringing, that sort of thing.
I was born in Havre, Montana, which is right up near the Canadian border. Wow. My dad is he's retired now. My dad was a history and government teacher, and he was also a coach. And as a coach, when he started out teaching high school and was also coaching various sports, primarily was coaching women's basketball, but also coached track, football, a number of other things. But he moved on to another job in Missoula, Montana, where he was also coaching at the high school until eventually they went on strike. And when the teacher strike happened, fast forward a little bit, it started getting to pursue other possibilities where he went to Billings, Montana. What was Eastern Montana College is now Montana State. Billings, I believe, is what it is now. And he went to Division II coaching women's basketball, and women's athletics does not get the kind of respect or compensation that men's athletics, even to this day.
Of course.
But at the time, he has some great years, even eventually made Hall of Fame, I found out a few years back. It was in the Hall of Fame. I need to go see it. But when he had a losing season, well, it doesn't take but one. And next thing you know, they're saying, well, we got to make some cuts. And of course, women's athletics is going to get some cuts. When that happens, he immediately starts putting his resume out and goes to Idaho State University in Pocatello and makes a move up to Division I women's basketball. Same kind of thing occurs, and he makes sort of a lateral move to where he went into becoming an athletic director at Idaho State University, and some things happened there where they brought another director, and he went from assistant athletic director to where someone brought in someone else. So he became full circle, ended up in Idaho Falls. Well, first it was Rigby, but Idaho Falls, where he was the athletic director at Rigby High School and would still do a little bit of teaching there at the high school where he eventually retired. And during the course of this time, I was raised in a Catholic home. Wasn't heavily Catholic like your Hispanic Catholics or your Irish Catholics, but pretty Catholic. So I went through CCD, CYO, eventually, ironically, confirmed my Catholic faith during my junior year of high school. And I think a lot of that was mainly for my mom, really. I wanted my mom to be happy and to feel like, I've raised my son properly. So I went through it.
That's often the case.
And lots of funny stories go along with that, because if you've ever seen, I can't recall the movie now with Robert De Niro, where he's the Catholic priest that was able to get right down the level of the kids. We had a priest like that, Father LaChance, and he would give you noogies and bend your ears and you really felt like you could just sort of open up to
Touch
Father
you
Lynch
in
hands.
places. Right?
Yeah. No, actually, he wasn't that bad. He was not. He was. You know what? If I saw him today, I would absolutely shake the man's hand. And he's a good guy. He really is. And he did great things for those of us that were Catholic boys at that time. But we were also questioning the entire time. There were a group of us who were honors kids, and we were immediately questioning the kind of belief system that we were being presented with.
Let me guess, that was right around the age of reason, right?
Yeah, it really was. And this is happening simultaneously as we're supposed to be confirming our faith.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that last confession. I go in there and the priest asked me, so what do you think about this? You're about to confirm your faith. And I said, well, I guess you probably have this occasionally. I just don't know if the shit's all real, right? And he says, excuse me? And I said, well, I mean, let's face it, it seems kind of, wow, this big guy in the sky and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And you ever ask yourself, God, is this all real? I don't know. And next half an hour later, I'm coming out of the confessional, and the other guys, what the hell you were supposed to just tell him, yes, I believe this, and genuflect and move on. But no, you had to go tell them the truth, didn't you? But anyway, that's where it comes. The next thing you know, basically, I went for what a lot of people did and said I'm agnostic, which is a cop-out, really. But I went down that road for a while. Yada yada yada. I meet my wife.
Were you familiar with Satanism at this time when you were younger? Did you even know anything about it at all?
Not as the codified Satanism that we understand it today. It was the misunderstood Satanism.
Sure.
And if I understood anything better, frankly, it would have been paganism and Wiccan at that point. I met some cute girls in college that were pagans, and I was kind of fascinated with them at that point in my life, but didn't really know much about Satanism or anything like that. For me, it was more about I had an interest in the darker side of life, if you will, and of course,
awesome.
Of course, at that age, being who I am, I thought, oh yeah, whatever you want to do, that sounds great.
Nice.
But at any rate, I meet my wife, and what's crazy is the internet that introduced me, and I'm starting to get closer to where I'm going to begin a tattoo career, and I'm surfing around the net, and I find Paul Booth. When I went to one of the early inceptions of his site at darkimages.com, I see a Baphomet necklace that is on there that was designed at that time by Warlock Netherworld. Of course, that's where it started right there. Now I have to go Google Baphomet, and I have to Google, all this other stuff. Next thing you know, I'm at churchofsatan.com, and before I know it, I'm listening to early podcasts of Satanism Today. Stuff like that, where we had to download internet radio at that time, and I discovered, So really early version, and that's where I kind of came into it. Before I knew it, we were at Barnes Noble buying the books, and I guess as they say, the rest is history. But that's sort of long-winded, but that's how we got here.
That old chestnut, yeah.
So Paul Booth is how you got into Satanism. Nice.
Yeah.
He's an amazing artist too, man. Wow.
Yeah. Not only by investigating, what ultimately became a career, but I look at this, I think, God, this is awesome. What is that? And then I don't realize just how awesome it is until I investigated further. I thought, oh, wow.
Yeah. Nice, man.
Real cool.
Paul Booth is actually a big influence of mine in tattooing. So, yeah.
I think he's influenced about all of us currently.
It's definitely anybody that's been tattooing more than 10 years at least. You got to be influenced by him. I haven't really heard much about him lately, but
I heard he was taking you have to make an appointment to see him, and it's really long out and all that stuff. And I don't know.
Yeah, well, he used to have like a 2-year waiting list, but I don't know if that's still the case or not. But shit, he's tattooing on metal bands.
His biggest influence on me is his shop.
Yeah.
What he has done with his shop is unreal.
Is he still working? Do you know if he's still?
Yeah, he is. In
Oh,
fact, I
shit.
saw a tattoo he turned out not that long ago where he tattooed a face. It was a goat figure, Baphomet, something, but it was on his neck and it went up onto his chin.
Yeah.
And he had.
I've watched him work before, but at a convention, not in a
I
shop.
haven't seen him really work that much. I did see Lucifer when he was still with Last Rites at a convention. It was in fact, it was on the Haunted Queen Mary at the Ink and Iron years ago, 2006. And I was on the other side, and Lucifer was tattooing a head. And I was kind of leaning over, and he looked over at me, and I said, "I'm sorry, I don't mean to feel like I'm invading your space or anything. I'm kind of a fan of your work. I'm an artist in the Salt Lake Valley." And he says, "Oh, you're an artist?" And I said, "Yeah, I am. I work at Attitude Tattoo," because at that time I did. And he said, "Oh, well, then come on back." And I actually got to stand next to him for a couple minutes while he was tattooing to see what he was doing. Which was neat for me at that point in my career. I just thought, oh my God, I'm standing next to Lucifer while he's tattooing this head. And God, it was cool.
It's awesome.
Nice.
Did he ever say, if you ever run for mayor, I'll vote for you?
No, but that'd have been great.
Darn it.
So then, when you got your hands on the Satanic Bible and that sort of thing, other works of Anton's, was it an instant connection sort of thing, or did it take a while to sink in? Or
it was absolutely an instant connection. I think the only thing that, guys, the section of the Satanic Bible where he begins talking about the Black Mass, how it's traditionally perceived, and I thought, whoa, where are we going here? And then you keep reading, and then he lets you know that no, that's the way a lot of people perceive it. But let me, explain to you what it really is.
Yeah.
And before I knew it, I was just absorbing the words on those pages. Thought, oh my God, honey, you need to read this book. We've got to do a ritual. We've got to, get more of this stuff, and
we got to buy candles now.
Yeah, exactly. We need more black T-shirts.
right.
No, but seriously, before I knew it, I wanted to get all of his literature, and I did. Eventually, we had the entire collection of the doctors and started reading beyond that and discovering the other individuals that have been doing some writing, like Magister Paradise, for example, is one of the other ones that I was first in. And for the longest time, James Sass.
Yeah,
of course.
Yep.
I followed him. I followed him big time on MySpace, and I used to follow all the blogs.
I did too.
And all those blogs, of course, became the essays that was in his book, Essays. Satanic Essays in Satanism.
Yeah,
and I follow a lot of that, and that book is fabulous. And then here comes Magister Gilmore, and he releases his book, The Satanic Scriptures. And for me, no offense to the doctor of his writing, but for me, that became the true companion to the Satanic Bible.
Yeah, of course.
I can see that, definitely.
Yeah, it was, you read the Satanic Bible and then read the Satanic Scriptures. And I just thought, wow, this seems to truly further it and explain it in a language that's right down to earth. And it was just a beautiful book. Yeah, and like I said, for me personally, I really felt like that was the complement to the Satanic Bible.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, and I think I said this in one of the more recent podcasts too. But for me, getting to Peter and also Magister Paradise and even James Sass's books, those were kind of confirmations to me that that even though it had been a while since Dr. LeVay had written anything, that there were still people that were moving forward with it and still explaining it. So it was kind of a confirmation to me that this is still going strong.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And Nemo is another one. I had to buy his book immediately when it was released. I had to go buy it. I think the only thing I was bummed about was that there wasn't a hardcover edition of it.
Right. Yeah, cool. All right, so so this is about the time that you were getting ready to start tattooing. You said it's been about 10 years now. Did you start off working in another shop? Did you get an apprenticeship, or what did you do?
I did. It was very non-traditional. This is what's insane. I started out not knowing exactly what to do. I was kind of knocking on doors, if you will, with other shops, and of course getting the typical "fuck you, get out of my shop," because a lot of those old schoolers, they're brutal, and they're not nice about it at all. I won't
That is
mention one
true.
of the, I won't mention one of the shops in particular, but he's definitely one of the old dogs, very old dogs in the area, and he's pretty mean about it as far as get out of my shop. And one of the other artists there had tattooed me, and he came out and he was pretty cool about it. In fact, he's still cool to me this day, and has left and opened another shop here in the valley, and we're still on a very friendly basis. But I had that happen in a couple different places, and I didn't think I was gonna get in. I thought, oh my god, if I don't know somebody, I don't know if I'll be able to get in. And that's when we started exploring on the net, and I find the world's only tattoo school. And I became one of those students, which I've mixed feelings about it over a decade later.
Yeah,
At the time, I worked a few different jobs, borrowed some money from mom and dad, and whatnot. And I make it out there to Detroit for this 2-week course to come back and get all excited about tattooing up my friends and my parents, and basically messing up a lot of skin.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm able to do a couple of pieces on good friends of mine to this day that I'm taking to a portfolio and show Knox over at Attitude Tattoo when it was just about to open up its doors. And he looked at it and he said, "You know what? This piece and this piece, I think you've got something, and I can tell by your original artwork that you have some talent and you have some skill. I'll teach you."
Nice.
And he kind of gave me some parameters, saying, "You know what? You're done tattooing on your house. Get everything over here. Anybody that you need to finish, you finish here." And he treated it a whole lot like a somewhat traditional apprenticeship, but he didn't have me put down the machine. He allowed me to kind of continue under his terms. So he would pick and choose what I got to tattoo and when, and otherwise, at the same time, he would have me do a lot of the tracing. He had me fill in. He'd have me doing the college ruled paper and filling in the lines in between solid. So he couldn't find. Yeah, and he said, "Now, if I find spaces, those are holidays. That's what we call them in the skin, and you're going to redo it." And so he had me do it. So there's a lot of traditional apprenticeship kind of stuff, and I got a little bit of hazing from the other guys there and that kind of deal. But starting out when I'm 30 was definitely non-traditional by a long shot. Having a family was definitely non-traditional for a lot of artists. You're not typically in a relationship with kids. Because that kind of stuff is really hard going through traditional apprenticeship. But I was able to make it through, and eventually I was managing over at Attitude, and my wife and I together were there quite a bit. And that's how we learned the entire workings of the shop, everything from making orders and doing paperwork to run the place.
Sure.
And that's, when it was time to spread my wings, Knox, patted us on the back and said, "I'm really proud of you. And, you have my blessing. I'll come over and visit you on the other side of the valley." And so that's when we opened up shop in Magna.
Nice.
And in fact, Knox is still a really good friend. He comes out to our Inkathon each year as a guest artist.
Oh, that's cool, man. Right on. Yeah, that can be, the tricky thing is, especially nowadays, I assume it's even harder starting off in the tattoo business and getting somebody to help you out. And the business is so inundated with artists that it can be difficult to, number one, to want to share secrets, but number two, just accept somebody who's not gonna, it was like the reason why, shops used to kind of haze people and make them do all the bitch work in order to get to being an artist was just to weed out the people who wanted just to do something cool. They wanted just handed to them versus ones that really were dedicated and willing to do whatever it took to learn those secrets,
Yeah. And we've gone back to doing more of a traditional apprenticeship. In fact, we've got a gal named Alex who's there now. She has blue hair. So, of course, she's blueberry, blue balls, blue anything that we can kind of come up with. Megan, who just graduated, in fact, at our party in front of everybody, she had no idea we were going to do it. I got up on stage and it said, "We want to proudly take you from working apprentice to artist as of today in front of everyone. It's official." And, she had a couple tears and was really proud of that. But before that, it was all about what Megan's doing. "Oh, are you Megan something new? Are you driving up to your station, Megan?" And, we were playing with her name constantly, and she was Megantron and Megan Ladon and all these kind of, always, Megantron. And so we're constantly playing with her name. And you would always have the gentle roasts that were happening to her every day, and I think we're a little bit easier on the girls. Craig,
Right.
who is still in a working apprentice state, man, it's a good thing he's got military background, because we basically, all but called him maggot and you're worthless, and boy, I sure hope you graduate beyond that toilet, go scrub it again.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, we treat them like traditional apprentices, because if we didn't, it seemed like other apprentices in the past just took advantage of it and wanted to run for instant gratification somewhere.
Right.
And treating the last three as we have has worked for us.
Oh man.
It's-
So tell us about your Halloween new traditions that you brought to your town. It seems like your whole town kind of gets obsessed with Halloween thanks to you now.
Yeah, it's cool, and we take a lot of pride in that. It started out with just doing the trick or treating during the actual Halloween season in October, and we always do it the Saturday prior to Halloween. So it gives kids an extra day of trick or treating and allows everyone that is involved as far as hosting the trick or treating to still do it at their house and to celebrate in the manner that they choose. But this year, our trick or treating event was able to attract over 2,000 kids plus their parents out there.
Damn.
Which was really neat to see all this. And it's not just the brick and mortar businesses that are involved. We were able to get Chick-fil-A came out and set up a booth with their cow, and there's a karate place out here that set up a booth, and they were letting kids not only get candy but break boards and
Cobra Kai.
There's a realtor that was out here doing candy. So it's neat to see that these other
Sweet leg.
businesses now are coming out, setting up tables and booths to create extra stops for the kids. And then beyond that, we do the annual Halloween and Summer Festival each July, which this year was able to get 10,000 people out in the streets.
10,000.
Yeah,
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, it was neat. It started out as an idea on a yellow legal pad. Renee and I are having a few drinks and watching TV, and I said, we should do something really cool. It might make us a few bucks, but do something really neat in the community, that gets all these people together and helps to promote the businesses. And who knows, maybe it attracts a new entrepreneur onto our street, which at that time, we were one of the only shops on the street besides the bars. There's 5 bars, or there were 5 at the time, and then us, and there was a bakery at one time, and the pizza places were kind of in and out. Now we finally have a stable one of those, but at any rate, wasn't a lot out there. And so we thought this would be a way to kind of attract people out to this very unique historic area. And we take it to the president of the chamber at the time, and he says, God, that sounds pretty ambitious. You think you can pull it off? We go, oh yeah, of course we can. Truth is, we knew as we started to investigate that this was going to be extremely daunting as far as the task is concerned. And so it just was a party at the filling station, which is the bar next door. It's now changed names. And then the next year we said, all right, well, we're going to do it again. And we want to continue to call it the Halloween Summer Festival. We need to get it closer to a festival. So we added a trick-or-treating. And then the next year, the gal that's a manager of the library and currently the manager or the president of the chamber comes over and she wants to get involved. So he said, all right, we're going to add a movie night. So we did a horror-hosted movie night inside the library where I became Storm Van Ghoul, put on makeup and a tuxedo top hat, and I hosted the Wolfman. And I did it in the tradition of Ben Ghoulie or Zach Early or any of those, where I got up and I told just ridiculously campy jokes and gave a little bit of background on the movie and then presented the movie. And we had a good handful of people show up to it. The next year was when we started to get some attention. And that's when we actually had some people from the newspaper and others that wanted to get involved. And they were saying, let us know what it takes as far as coming out there and the booths and this kind of deal. And that's when we went to team up with Media One at that time that also helps to promote Comic-Con. And they helped us to kind of get a start and get us an idea of what it takes to attract booths and vendors and that kind of thing. Before you knew it, we were talking to the town council and getting permits and getting road closures and yada, yada. And before you know it, we finally have our year, which was last year. We have a full-fledged street festival with a stage and live entertainment and booths going down the street. We had 35 booths. We were able to create a second stage and veritable beer garden, which is actually in the outside area of the bar next to us, and still had the party that night to cap everything off. Given that this year, this past summer, we got even more attention. Then people said, no, we heard about it. We want to get involved. So the short of it, we were able to get 90 booths out here. We had a carnival in the far end of the parking lot that we brought in. We had main stage, the second stage, plus a trick or treat, plus the plus all the way across the board. We put in there and the party that night, and that's how I said we got 10,000. The crazy part about this, in its entirety, our committee consists of myself and Renee.
Jesus.
Wow. No, not Jesus, just him and Renee.
No, Jesus, take the wheel. I mean,
yeah,
and people say, you've got to be kidding me. You don't have a whole committee. I said, nope. We're the ones making all the phone calls, all those posters. Anything you see, it's a part of it. That's us doing that. And then we get volunteers to help us. We have what we call Ghoul Crew that come out and help, and we have
the Ghoul Crew
that come out to volunteer and kind of help us. But as far as the actual organization and put everything together, that's us. Renee and I were sitting in that bar, swilling some beers and putting people into their booth designations and painting the numbers on the street and all that. That was us.
That is crazy.
Wow. Next year, we already know that it has now grown to a point, because this year we also attracted Comic-Con out to it. Dan Farr, the co-founder, and really kind of the man behind it, he was out there. We got pictures with him. So now that we've got Comic-Con, we've got haunted houses and this kind of deal involved, we're going to have a committee next year.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Damn.
It's really become something.
So, all right. So now.
So if it gets really hot there, like real hot and sunny, is it liquid hot magna?
Yeah, it probably is.
You don't see it, but my pinky's up to my lip. So. Anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It's a mining town. It was based on mining. And in fact, we live on pyrite, which of course is named after fool's gold. So I wouldn't be surprised if there would be some liquid hot magna.
Now you've tattooed Adam Campbell, haven't you?
Yes, I have. A couple times, a few times.
So next time you get that fucker in the chair, you need to put TTYK tattooed on him. Devil,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah.
Just sneak it in
subliminally.
Or actually, I got a better one. Actually, when you're tattooing him, just doesn't add in 10 cents.
He'll know what it means. Yeah.
I'm kind of laughing along. I have no idea, but I just like the idea of hiding something like that and saying, you know what, Dorian said to put that
in there. He'll be like, what?
Do you live close to him?
He's right there on there.
He's close in a metro area. I think that's kind of relative to say.
Well, let me ask you this: when he's recording his show, 9 Cents, his podcast, can you hear him yell from your house?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I've been to his house a few times to share in his tasty brews, and I have been on his show a couple times, and my wife's been on his show. And in fact, he was at our Halloween/birthday party that we just hosted, which was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, cool.
Very cool.
So Storm, you do have a book out right now, don't you?
That's correct.
Tell us about it.
It is called the 365 Days of Halloween. And it was another one of my big ideas where I told Renee, I want to put out this book. I actually want to do this project before it even got to be a book, where I do an art piece every day for an entire year. But if it's going to be done right, it would need to start on November 1st so that it could end on Halloween.
Oh,
and we're coming back, and I talked about it for a couple of years and didn't really move forward with it. And then we're coming back from our 10-year anniversary trip in Salem, and we're on the plane coming home on November 1st. And I'm drawing a kind of a sketch, a drawing, and I number it 1/365. And she looks at me and asks, "Oh my God, are you really going to do it?" And I said, "I guess no, I'm like the president. I'm going to do it." And inside my head, I knew there was going to be quite the dedication I was going to make, but I didn't realize what level of commitment this was going to put myself in, because I had to give myself some rules. And part of those rules were I could use a piece that I had started, but it had to be finished on the day that I was going to submit it into the project. I couldn't use anything that I'd previously completed because I didn't properly budget the time or whatever, and just grab any old piece from whichever year and just put it into the project.
Right.
It also had to have some kind of Halloween element in there, whether it was a candy corn or orange color, something that made it decidedly Halloween in its theme. And it had to be done each day on that day by midnight, whatever time zone I was in, just in case I travel. And it becomes something that's taxing now, because if you have an appointment you need to prepare other drawings for, doesn't make a difference. This has to be done for the project. If I'm sick, doesn't make a difference. Has to be done for the project, or you're screwed. The entire project's done. You haven't made 365 days. Now, this can also interfere with home life, with your children, with your wife. And that's, and I swore to her I will never, ever do it again. I really mean that. It was something that was rigorous, but it was also very rewarding in the end. I mean, to complete something like that is definitely quite a feeling where you just think, wow, I just did an art piece every single day for an entire year.
Wow. What kind of mediums were you using?
Primarily, I was doing a lot of watercolors, a lot of charcoal. I ended up doing, and then I just had a lot of pen and ink I was doing. But I tried stuff. I did some 3D stuff, and I experimented with some markers and some other mediums in there. But primarily, those were the big ones: the charcoal, the watercolor, and the pen and ink were my big ones.
So let me ask. I hate to be a stickler, but there's actually 365 and 1/4 days in a year. Did you do 1/4 of a drawing?
I didn't. So I didn't. So I guess I'm missing 1/4 of a day in there.
No, I'm just playing.
Would you screw yourself if you started that on a leap year?
Yeah, like this year. Yep, you would have been 366 days of vote, which I think that'd be rather interesting too, to have it as a 366 days, because you're only going to have that once every 4 years. But I think the next taxing part was going through and editing all the photos that were taken of the artworks, which turned out to be thousands of images going through, and then having the additional notes, because some of the stuff you look at and think, I don't understand at all what this means or why you did it. So it became sort of a literal journal, a visual journal of what was going on during the course of that year, which, I bring up being sick because I was sick. And so I had what I called a lowbrow stormal vision piece that was very kind of outsider, brute looking in its execution. And it has this witch with a thermometer hanging out of her mouth with sort of these little fuzzies around her head, because I was hopped up on NyQuil and barely, kind of barely there, and not at all feeling well, but I had to do the piece. And when I did it, and I took a picture and put it up on Facebook, I thought, there we go. I did it. And I feel like shit. but I got it done. And there's some other really interesting stories. One where I had a black eye, stuff like that, where these became very interesting stories to put in there. They were neat to go back through and think, wow, that happened within a year, even though it seems much longer now.
So why did Renee punch you?
Because you said you didn't call her the co-owner of the shop, right?
Yeah,
that's shit.
Yeah. No, in all seriousness, long story short, it was crazy. It was a disgruntled former client that had come in and just came in with the full intention of starting a fight, and she did.
Wow.
Yeah, and she, of course, was prosecuted in the end. She has been permanently 86 from our establishment, and she was found guilty in court of law when it was all said and done. But that's the short end of it. There's more that I expanded on it in the book. And the book right now is in publication. In fact, I noticed that I had an email today from Eric, Mr. Werner, aka Corvus Nocturnum, over at
Dark Moon
Press.
Yep.
I was pretty bound and determined to have him do the publication. I just think he's a neat guy who works his ass off at what he does.
Yeah, he does.
And I thought anybody who works this hard on putting his authors out there, I don't care if he isn't Simon and Schuster. You know what? This guy deserves to handle my publication.
He did mine, of course, too, which of course you were a part of. So
yeah. And I'm honored about it. I said I got to read that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Really good guy. I was on a road trip and he invited me to stop at his house and have dinner and hang out for a while. And he's a really good guy, man. Really good guy.
Yeah. When I speak to him on the phone,
busy.
Yeah, he does seem like just a neat guy. I look forward to sharing a drink with him at some point in the future and just talking to him more in person.
Yeah.
Most recently with the book, we were misquoted on the printing. And so for those that have been following on Facebook and whatnot, we were seriously misquoted on the printing costs. And so that's why costs on the soft cover are going up. And we're going to try and find another printer for the hardcover edition, which I am determined to release some hardcovers of the book. But I think realistically, they'll come out just before our festival in July. But,
right on.
Yeah,
Very
I still
cool,
haven't seen. I've seen a PDF format, and it's a gorgeous layout that he put together. I sent him everything, just kind of numbered it, and said, "Here it is. I hope it's organized well enough that you're able to do something with it." And it's incredible. It's a matter of a few days. He had it all put together in a PDF.
It's crazy.
It's 389 pages, and it's got black backgrounds with white lettering. It's gorgeous. It's still. I'm wowing myself at what I was able to do.
That's awesome. Excellent.
Very cool.
All right. Well, John, let's ask the question we ask everyone.
Yes. Storm, what does Satan mean to you?
Satan to me means power. It means free thought. It means creative energy at its greatest potential. And I think that's exactly what it is for my wife and I as respective artists. She may not be a visual artist like myself, but she's an artist as far as her seamstress work is concerned. And I think that what we do together is a respective quest for knowledge and a very much a respective quest to reach our greatest potentials. And I think that's exactly what Satan is for us. Satan is of course allegorical, but within that allegory, I think it's a symbol of pursuing the very best within yourself and using those dark creative forces that surround us to accomplish that.
Absolutely.
Awesome. This
Very
is only
cool,
our seventh
man.
episode. I gotta say, that's probably the fourth best answer. That's awesome. I don't know.
Thank you.
Yeah, when are you gonna stop doing that, dude?
I don't know. I'm probably never now. It's a thing.
By the way, I love your eye Satanist stuff.
Oh, thanks, man.
I need to. I'm now that I'm through the what I would consider the holiday season. A little bit of time has opened up before we get into the new year, and I have to really kind of crunch down to start planning for next year's festival and the Inkathon, that kind of deal. But I need to get a picture of the brimstone that's up on our wall right now. It's fabulous. I absolutely love it.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
We have the brimstone plaque, and it's next to we have the certificates framed and
Definitely check out I Satanist. There's a kick-ass new poster on there. So
yeah, man.
Wow, man, that thing is that is a top-notch deal that you did there.
Part one of a two-part series, man. Hey, well, that's awesome, Storm. It was great having you, man. Great hearing your story, where you come from, what you're doing. It's amazing. Keep it up. We really, I learned a lot about you.
Well,
Absolutely.
you know what? Thank you so much for asking me to do it.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the chance. I know I'm often I'm talking and I can't shut up, so I hope I wasn't too long-winded for the show.
You're good.
Thank you guys for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
And one more thing, though, can we, if we can tell everyone where is the best way to look up what you're about online, as far as any projects that you're a part of?
You can find us at artonyou.com. That's ARTONYOU.com. If you want to know more about the festival, it's at HalloweenInSummerFestival.com. And if you want to find me, I'm very active on Facebook. You can just look up Storm Anderson on Facebook, and you'll know it right away when you see the page with Art on You Studios and all my devilish and Halloween stuff that's on there.
Nice.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks for being on here, Storm.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right.
Following has been removed because it is on a need-to-know basis, and right now, you do not need to know. Thank you.
And I have a feeling that at that point we probably meet up and I will have beers with my fellow
We'll hug
beers.
it out, man. We'll hug it out. Yeah.
I'll hug it out. I'm a hugging kind of guy. especially after about 3 beers in, I'm definitely a hugging kind of guy.
We'll fuckerize each other, man. Don't worry about it.
All right, Storm. So thanks for being here, man. And we look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you. And I look forward to talking to you again.
All right. Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
All right. That's going to do it for this week. What do you say, Dorian?
It was another show.
How about the Walken shit? It's really becoming interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. I mean, we're gonna have to hear these tapes and
the alleged tapes.
Nah,
it's like a fucking soap opera.
It's really messed up, man. What's up with that? I don't know. We're gonna have to find out. Get to the bottom of this.
So next week, if we get our hands on that tape or tapes, we will play those and get into that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listeners, I'm getting a lot of messages. They got theories. I got a message on the phone. One of them just gave this whole huge theory. I'm not going to play it. I might, I don't know, but it was about talking about how he thinks that Adam is like the Skeksis from Dark Crystal, and yeah, and Christopher Walken is like the whatever the other dudes are that he called them pussy hippies or something. And I'm like, okay. And you know, he's just going off about that. And I was just sitting there listening to it like, oh boy.
Holy shit. That's funny.
Maybe I'll play it. I don't know. But,
right. Well, we got to say, of course, special thanks to Storm Anderson.
Yes. What a fucking interesting gentleman, huh? Fellow. Yeah, what an interesting
absolutely. Fellow. Soon to be mayor.
Soon to be fucking mayor, dude.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's right. Everybody get out there and vote. While you can, vote, and vote often. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So we're out.
Thank you for listening to another episode of The Devil You Know. The Devil You Know podcast can be found at thedevilyouKnowpodcast.com. Call and leave a message on our sound off line at 602-368-3166. Again, that's 602-368-3166. This week's word, adamantine.